A warm good morning to all. For the past 4 days, we were fortunate enough to listen and imbibe new perspectives on the dynamics of research. Today, being the grand finale of the FTP, we have in our midst Dr. Vineetha Thomas, Assistant Professor, Central University of Kerala, to share her views and ideas about open educational resources and creative common licensing. She has worked as a project assistant for the project on OER integration for course development by Wawasan Open University, Malaysia with University of Cape Town, South Africa, supported by International Development Research Center, Canada. She has developed and presented learning modules for EPG Pathshala project under MHRD, National E-Content project on ST.XAVIER'S platform, DLED program on National Institute of Open Schooling. She has also developed and presented learning modules for online refresher courses for higher education faculty under ARPIT by MHRD. She has served as resource person for UGC-MHRD-STRIDE's various national and state level workshops and faculty development programs at school, collegiate level, and universities. Indeed, this is a proud moment for the Xaverian family, as she is the daughter of one of our retired professors, Ms. Euphrasia from the Department of Zoology. With due respect and lots of love, I do welcome Dr. Mary Vineetha to this program. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Sonia, ma'am. And I would also like to thank the college for inviting me to this session, and we had been collaborating for quite a while. And I cannot express my joy when I say, like she earlier mentioned my mother. She had been associated with ST.XAVIER'S College for a long time with the zoology department. So it's like a family to me. There is no formality. You know, someone calls you, you rush and come to the family, and it's like that. So I'm very happy, and a very warm good morning to one and all. And it's, yes, at times I feel bad because nowadays the pandemic has given us a major challenge of doing everything online, all classes, all sessions. Earlier, when it was like an offline session, we get to see each other and we interact, and the warmth and everything is there. But now it's like completely virtual. We are seeing each other on the screens, tiny, tiny square faces. And that's a little bit difficult for all of us, but yes, we are coping with it, and we are taking up the challenge in a very positive way, because I can see so many seminars, so many workshops being conducted throughout the country, which is proving that this COVID or whatever it is cannot, you know, put us back on an educational scenario is fighting it with all success. Yes, so coming as Sonia ma'am she said, it's a grand finale, and that is the most difficult part also. When it is the grand finale and the last day, everyone is in a hurry to finish off the session and get back, right? Earlier, when it was offline sessions, we could feel it. Everyone is like, train is there, bus is there, you have to get back, the duty certificates and so many things. But at least that is not there now when it is on the online mode, I feel. But still, when we feel that it's the last day, we just tend to get relaxed, and we just want to finish it off, and we feel a little bit of boring also. Maybe for me, sometimes I feel like that. Difficult part to take a class on the last day. Usually I don't prefer that, but most of the times it happens to me. I get the last session also. Once for a refresher course, I was taking a session on OER. It was the last day, and all were kind of very, very disinterested. And finally they told me, ma'am, it is not your fault. It is because it's the last day. We all want to rush home. So you came in the wrong time, the wrong day. That's what they told me. Anyway, but again, I take it up as a challenge, and let us see how this session goes, and particularly open education resources. And we have been promoting OER from quite a long time. In the university level also, we have been conducting a lot of FDPs under Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching. And there we have been having this OER sessions. So this is basically because this concept, which was framed in 2002, it's like 2021 now, still many of us are not aware, or we don't have a proper knowledge on what an OER is and how to use it to the fullest potential can be exploited. We don't know about it. Still, it's like, what is an OER? What is an OER? Just a definition somewhere people hear. So that is why we have been striving hard to promote this understanding among users, so that people come forward and start using open education resources. The apprehensions and worries behind it, just go away. And I myself have been taking this session, I think, for so many workshops. So if some of you here already have attended this, I have, you have to bear with me, because it's again the same open educational resources. And some of you might be experts in it by now, you might be using it. So kindly bear with me. Maybe you can share your knowledge, and it can be kind of a collaborative learning rather than a person sitting on one side and lecturing through the square video and all that. It will be very boring. So if someone is already using this and has maybe something more to contribute, you're always welcome. You can come and put forth your ideas, share your ideas. Okay. So as I know now, the first session, this is how I was planning. Like in the morning session, we'll just go through the concept of an open educational resource, and basically what it is, what are the characteristics, what the licensing part and all that. And then towards post lunch from 3 to 4:30, if I'm right, we have another session where we will see like how to browse or locate an open educational resource on the internet. That will be a very short session. It won't take much of your time. So don't worry, post lunch, we'll keep it short. It will be hands-on. And I hope that all of you have an internet connection. Yes, you will be having, because there's no other way. Have an internet connection and a laptop, so that post lunch we can just do some hands-on activities. Okay. So to begin with, I'll just give me a minute. I'll just have the screen sharing option on. So I hope the screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So coming to open educational resources. Now, this concept, as we all were discussing before of this pandemic, it has put us into this digital world, right? Everything has come to the digital mode, teaching, the learning process, entire thing, sharing of materials, whatever you say. But yes, we are coping up with it, and we are conducting classes, sessions, workshops, everything is going on in the digital mode. And because of that, a lot of digital materials are to be exploited, have to be used, have to be searched for, and people are doing that because there is no other way. And that is one thing. But what I personally noticed during this COVID time is that this pandemic which came and has put a challenge to all of us, what has happened is this digital world has confined, we are all confined to this four walls and this computer or the phone, right? And we don't have a chance to interact with our friends or our colleagues, and we are all sitting at home in this within the screen, and that's what is happening. So somewhere at one point we say the doctors, the nurses, the social workers, they are all coming forward, and they are doing so much for the country and for the society to fight this pandemic. That is also happening at one place. But somewhere where we are confined to these four walls, I feel that a sense of self-centeredness is rising. We are all just confining ourselves, and it's like me and my computer and my work and my score and something like that. This spirit has been increasing or growing, might be. And not only with the pandemic, recently few years I've been observing that all we are bothered now with this rapid technology and all coming up, and this all these promotions and CAS schemes and so many things are there. Now everybody is just bothered about the API score or the promotions, or how to get one more step in the ladder and all these things. It's like me, myself. This is what I have been observing. Even in my students, I have been observing. When you compare with the 5 years or 6 years back, or when we were when we were students, if you compare that to the present scenario, I feel that somewhere this kind of a self-centeredness where it's all about myself and I have to achieve and there is no we. The term we somewhere is disappearing. It's like always me, myself, mine. We and us is kind of getting disappeared. So I have been wondering about it. I always keep thinking about it, like how to bring back that. And that is why CBSE, the the Central Board of Secondary Education, they have brought in a subject on life skills to promote a lot of values and build the skills in children. Okay. So now you might be wondering, why am I talking on all these things when the topic is open educational resource? It's a digital term. Why am I talking about all these things? Why is it? Because this term, OER, open educational resource, this is a digital term. Yes, this is all about digital learning and digital learning materials. In spite of that, OER promotes and supports a value. It is something it puts forth and it's supporting a very strong value, none other than sharing. Okay, so this value, which sharing, this concept of sharing is being promoted by open education resource. The very base or the very foundation of an OER lies on the concept of sharing. To what extent you are ready to share as a person, how you are open-minded, and how you are ready or willing to share what you have with your fellow beings. So this is the very basis of an open educational resource. So if you are someone who would want to use an OER or who would want to promote an OER, then definitely you will have to have this value, none other than the value of sharing. Okay, so it's a very beautiful thing concept which I is promoting sharing. Okay, am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
It's showing internet connection is unstable and all that, so I thought maybe it's breaking. Okay, so now let's come up to the term open educational resources. Okay, and basically we all know when we are all using online materials, and we are all using Google. Whenever we have a project or an assignment or whatever it is, we immediately go and we Google it, and Google gives you so many articles, right? You just have to press the search button, the enter button, and then n number of articles related to your topic, it comes up, and we are so happy seeing that. We browse each and everything and we find out which is more important, which is related. We use it for our research, we use it for publications and all those things. But in the happiness, we go and we browse and all that, but finally when we really want to put into practice, there is something which pulls us back. What would it be? We all know the stringent thing of copyright. Every paper or every article, if you look into, either on the front page or on the last page, you can see a C and a circle, and that is a terror which every one of us faces because copyrights issue. So we all want to take something, we all want to make use of the online learning materials, but finally when we go happily and when we start taking things from that, suddenly there is an inner voice which is telling us that beware, there is the copyright thing, so you have to be very careful. So this is something, this copyright is troubling us. It has been pulling us back, and we are not able to freely access and use. Somewhere this issue is always there. So people have started, working on how to overcome this issue of copyright so that maximum number of people can use this online learning materials without without any fear of this legal tassels attached, all those things, legal issues or the cases coming up of all plagiarism and all these things. So many things are there, right? So that is when this concept of open educational resource was introduced. Okay, so what is an OER? The phrase OER was first coined in 2002. As I said, UNESCO, they came up with the term in 2002, and they have defined it as digitized materials. Obviously, when you say open educational resources, they have to be digitized. They are digitized materials which are offered freely and openly, which can be used as well as reused for teaching, learning, and research. And it includes all learning objects like lecture materials, references, syllabus, experiments, demonstrations, whatever it is. It involves all those things. So And OER is nothing but a digitized material, something which is available online, which is free and open to use, which can be used and reused for teaching, learning, and research. Okay. So I know when you hear it for the first time, it is like a bit of confusing, and you will think that what makes it different from the other materials which are there online. Like everything can be used, everything can be taken freely and openly from the net, something like that, right? So we will just go into the details or characteristics of an OER, and then the concept will become more and more clearer. And as researchers, I think there are research scholars also, students attending this, and even teachers. As teachers, we all are researchers. There is a researcher hidden in all of us, and we all have to research, be it a thesis or be it an action research or be it just a small project. We are all researchers. There is no end to a teacher's learning life, right? It's like a lifelong learning process. So research is a part and parcel of our lives. So as a researcher, the first thing, which we always look forward is to get quality materials, educational materials, access to quality learning materials. And that is where, again, we face this problem of copyright and all that. So for that, this OER is definitely going to help all of us, okay? So what is an OER? Now, I've been talking for a while, so I'll just put a question to all of you all. Someone of you who have not attended my session or who is not, well versed with an OER, someone who is new to the concept of OER, if someone can just unmute and just put forth, like, what do you understand, or have you partially heard this concept somewhere? If you have partially heard it and you know something about it, can any one of you share, like, what would you guess? And the term open educational resource, what could it be? Can any one of you unmute and just put forward your ideas or views regarding this phrase? Anyone who is not well versed with OER, who is somebody who is new or who has partially heard about it? Any one of you? This way we can also make sure that actually you're listening to me. Otherwise, I might be the only person who is sitting here with the screen, and Soumya ma'am and Sonia ma'am. Others all we don't know, right? So we just I'll just cross check now. Let me see if someone's listening to me. Any one of you? No one? No one is wanting to come up and share their views? I think we have research scholars, research students also. So maybe any one of you can come forward and speak. I cannot, maybe I'll call the names then, because I've just minimized it. We face the difficulties, right? And I don't know if how many of you are research scholars, and Navya Chandran.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, is this Navya?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Navya, you're doing your research, or you're a faculty?
I'm a faculty at Cochin College, ma'am. I'm an assistant professor in English.
I'm sorry, I wanted to catch research scholars, but I think are we all faculty only here? The research students?
No, I think there are research scholars. Your class is actually very nice. I was listening to all of it. I couldn't contribute anything to it. That is the reason why I didn't answer.
Okay, ma'am. So it's fine. I'll call out some other names randomly and try to see if we can catch hold of some research students.
Thank you,
Renu,
ma'am.
okay, ma'am. Thank you. Renu Jose? Renu Jose?
Yes, ma'am.
So are you a research student?
No, I'm a faculty.
Okay. Sushmita Ann Verghese. Sushmita Ann.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, please. Who is this?
I'm a faculty from MAHATMA College, Tiruvalla.
Okay, so then maybe we'll ask faculty, the research so they don't want to contribute now. So maybe the faculty members can you just share your views on an OER? Have you come across this term? Anyone? Nina, Aju, Neetu, Jyotis, then Teji, Katie.
Yes, ma'am. This is Nina.
Oh,
Yes,
Nina,
ma'am.
you're from? Nina, you're
S&M
from?
College, S&M College, Maligra, Ernakulam.
No.
Actually, I'm not much familiar with this term. I know something about SWAYAM. That is a platform for us. And this much I am aware of this topic, and I don't know how to make contents in
Sir,
this.
okay. So any idea like how it would be?
Yes,
It is
ma'am.
open.
Like what is special about this or this not? Yes, please. Any one of you?
This
Anyone?
is the public digital library to improve curriculum worldwide.
Okay, a digital library to improve the curriculum worldwide, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then what makes it different from the copyrighted thing? I was talking about copy.
It's free of cost, ma'am. Anyone can have access to it.
Something related like Creative Commons license and other things, ma'am. I hope so.
Talk to me now.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I have a glimpse of this, but this is something related with Creative Commons license and other things. Where
Your good name, please, sir.
Siddiq. Siddiq, madam.
Sir, your good name?
Siddiq. Hello.
Am
I audible?
I'm not able to hear you. Okay, so the person who has spoken, in the end about this Creative Commons and all that. So yes, so definitely this is all about this Creative Commons licensing and all those things. Okay, so at least some of you, I'm happy that some of you have come up with your views, and I think many of them have already attended it, and that's why they're all keeping quiet. I can assume like that, right? So let's move on to the characteristics of an open education resource. So as I said earlier, an OER is a digital material which is available on the internet, and it is free and it is open to everyone and all.
Excuse me, ma'am, your voice is breaking.
Or is it still breaking?
Now it's fine, ma'am.
Okay, so see, this is the issue with technology, right? We talk about this technology advancements and all these things, but ultimately when it comes to this main the platform and stage, this is an issue where sometimes the net comes off, the range is getting cut and all those things. I have kept it very safely at one point hanging so that the range doesn't go. See, in spite of that, I don't know what is happening. It is getting cut. I've hanged it actually because the range here is very poor. So I've hanged it at a particular place and where I got a full signal. But see, unfortunately, again, it is getting cut. So we speak about OER, we speak about digitization and all that, but practical limitations, this digital divide of this internet connection and all this is still there. First, we have to get rid of all those things, Then we should talk about these big things actually. This basic thing is still not being fixed in many parts of our country. So in places like we are facing like this, I always wonder how my students, the rural areas and all, they're finding it so difficult to cope up with the digital online classes and that. Okay, so what makes an open educational resource different from the normal learning material that you find on the internet or on the website? So the first one, as the name suggests, openness. An open education resource is something which should be accessible to everyone, anytime, anywhere. It should be open to all. So if it is not open to all, if it is only partially open and all that, then definitely it is not an OER. If it is an OER, then it has to be, the entire material has to be open to everyone, anytime, anywhere. There should be no cost, or there should be no fee charged, and there should be no locks. Like many materials, if you can see some of the learning materials, they provide very good information. So when we want to read further, then a lock symbol comes and it says that this material has been locked. Now, if you want to further read about it, you have to take a membership or you have to pay a fee, and all those things are there. So that is not an OER. So the first characteristic of an OER is its openness, accessible and open to anyone, anytime, everywhere. The second thing, as I already said, is about the cost. Some of you have also mentioned that it should be cost-free. 99% of OERs are cost-free. There is maybe a 1% which might be having a cost, but that cost will be maintained by the institutions or repositories which are handling OERs. So we personally, we don't have to pay a royalty or a license fee or any sort of a cost for accessing that. So the second characteristic is with respect to its cost, it should be free of cost to all. That is, first one, reusable. An OER is something which should be reusable, which can be revised, which can be remixed, which can be redistributed, and finally, which can be retained with the user. Okay. So first one is reuse. So what do you mean by reusing? Someone has posted a material. I should be able to take that material and I should be able to use it as per my wish and my need whenever, wherever needed. There will be no restrictions imposed on using that particular material which has been published by another person. So that is called reusability. And another version or another angle to this reusability is that when I am taking my institutional logo, that watermarking and embossing and all that, on the pages. So whenever you download a document, that on the you can see the person's name is either embossed, or the institution's name is embossed, or the logo is there, so that wherever I take that material and use it, people will know that, okay, I have taken it from this institution, and that logo of that institution is there. So I've taken it from somewhere. So that should not be there. If that is there, then definitely you cannot say it is an OER. It should be very free to be reused. And the thing is, a simple example which I always cite for this reusability concept is, like, as I say, that we go to the gold shops or the sari shops and all, and we buy bulk purchases, they give you bags, or they give you some cup and saucer or some sort of plates and all that. But if you look into that, everywhere it will be written Bhima Jewellers or Kalyan Silks or Jayalakshmi Silks on that. Why? They are doing it for their promo. So whenever someone comes to your house, you serve tea on the cup and saucer, it is written Bhima Jewellers, so that they know you have got this from Bhima Jewellers or Kalyan Silks. So in that case, that is not an OER. You cannot, an OER should not be like that. If anybody is using it, nobody should be able to trace it, like from where he has got it, that institution logo. It should not become difficult. And suppose, like, for example, I'll give an educational example. I'm publishing an OER material and I'm from Central University of Kerala. Now I'm putting the symbol, embossing the symbol of CUK everywhere in all the pages, and I'm saying, come on, use it. You can use it at your own will, anywhere, anytime, anywhere. So now from ST.XAVIER'S College, someone is taking my material as a whole and is using it in some seminar or something. So when they are using it in the PPT and all that, what happens when my material is being displayed? Central University of Kerala logo is come, right? So that is not there. That is not allowed in an OER. So that doesn't form a good OER. So that is called reusability. Reusing in all its form, all its angles, from all point of view, we should be able to reuse it. Okay, that is basically the concept of reusability. Then comes revising. Revising, a very beautiful concept which we will all love. Because when we get a material, when someone has published as an OER, you have the right to adapt, adjust, modify, improve, or alter the content of that particular material. You are free to adapt, adjust, modify, improve, or alter it. So when you read it, you feel that, yes, this part needs a modification. I will modify it, and then I will put it into my work, or then I will use it for my seminar. You are free to do that. But in a normal case, in a normal copyrighted material, you cannot do that, right? You all know, as researchers, we all know that if you take something from a copyrighted material, it is like you have to quote it, and there should be no change. And first of all, you cannot take the entire material and all. You can only take a certain part of it, maybe a few lines from that. You cannot go for 2 or 3 paragraphs and all. You can only take a small section, and that too ditto. It should be like from the starting point to the end with comma, full stop, everything should be in the same way, and it should be in quotes, and you finally say that, yes, this was taken from this, and all those things are there. But here, if it is an OER, you are free to change it. To feel, sir, you have to alter this point, you are free to do that. Nobody is going to file a case on for that. So isn't that a wonderful concept, right? I definitely like that. And then comes remix. Again, remix means now, after you all modify, you improve, you alter and all, you feel that you want to add something. You want to add something to it. You want to add something from another OER, or you want to add something from your own part. You're ready to, you are free to do that. You can remix, combine the original or revised content with some other OER or some other material, and then you can create something new. Okay. Then comes redistribution. You can even share copies of this material, which you have, an OER material which you are downloading. You want to share it with someone. You can share the original content. You can share the revised form, which you have modified. Whatever, you are free for all that. You don't have to take permission from the author. But if it is a copyrighted material, you have to be extra careful when you come to sharing it or distributing it and you want to publish it or something along with your work and all. You have to take the permission of that person and all that. It's very strict, right? But for an OER, you are free to redistribute it. You are free. There is no legal issue. And finally, retain. You have all rights to retain the material with yourself. You can keep access to the materials even after the learning. Like, for example, if some courseware, if it's an open course, and if you have an OER licensed courseware running, then all materials which will be given, which will be running on that, you can keep it as a personal copy with yourself. It won't be locked after some time or nothing like that. Whatever is an OER courseware provides you, course is giving you throughout your life, you can just download it and you have 24-hour access to that. You don't have to worry. So you can keep access to the materials even after the learning process, and you can keep it with yourself as a personal copy. So these are the 5 R's of an OER, which is another major characteristic of OER. So first we said openness of an OER. Next is regarding the cost. And now we discussed about the 5 R's of an OER, 5 R's, okay? Next characteristic is relevance. Relevance, as teachers and as researchers, I don't think I have to explain it much in detail. Obviously, the materials, an OER material, it should be relevant to the topic concerned. So whatever material I'm publishing an OER and with respect to a particular topic, I have to make sure that it is relevant. It is very much connected to the topic which I am writing on. And it should be just like the information I get from a book. The same way, nothing less, maybe more. It can be more, but not less than that. So whatever information I am bound to get from a book by going to a library or from a bookshop, the same way, all those information should be contained in the OER with respect to the particular topic. So it should be genuine and it should be connected in depth to the topics concerned. So that is another major characteristic of an OER. It should provide insightful and meaningful learning to the users. It's not that somebody just puts something and then it becomes an OER. No, relevance is equally important. It should provide insightful and meaningful learning to the users. Apt information, it should provide them with the apt information or topics concerned, just like they would have got from referring a book or any other offline resource. Okay. And next is, yes, it has to be simple and easy to use, because you have different types of learners accessing materials. So many learners, you have the bright, you have the average, you have the middle, the weak ones, everyone is there, right? So an OER should be designed in such a way that, sorry, the content and language, it should be easily comprehensible for all learners, for all types of learners. Just because you are good in English doesn't mean that that an OER will be prepared in such a way using your Oxford English and Harvard English, and the poor kids, they won't understand anything. So when an OER is prepared, the language part is very, very important. There should be no grammatical errors, but it should be in simple English, which can be understood by each and everyone or every type of learner or user. And always it should be developed in user-friendly formats, which can be easily downloaded and printed and all. And if it is like, as we discussed earlier, in formats which are locked or which can be only half opened, which cannot be downloaded, certain files we all come across, right? When we go to the net and when we click download, this is not supported, that is not supported, you have to install that, you have to install this. No, so an OER should not be like that. It should be in such a way, in a user-friendly format, which can be easily downloaded and printed, and which has simple content and simple language, where everyone can understand. Okay, because usually we see, these professors and all who are very good in English, what they do, they will be talking all big terms. They will be using all these big English words, and the users will be totally worried, and they will be all perplexed, and they'll be thinking that what is this sir or ma'am trying to say? So that should not be there. The learning platform is not a place where you show your language skills. I mean, language skills in the sense like your vocabulary, like to what extent you are well versed in all that. No, the more easier and simpler way you can explain and use English, that is the best thing which you can practice for a teaching learning platform. So when you develop an OER should be developed in that way. And finally, now this is like earlier one sir had mentioned, this is the most important aspect or characteristic of an OER. All this while I was talking about all this, so many characteristics. Now, how to easily identify an OER on the net, like when you're browsing. Is like, okay, so many characteristics have been said that it can be revised, retained, it should be open, it should be cost-free, it should be simple and easy to use, it should be relevant. All these characteristics are there. But with all these characteristics, how do I properly identify this on the net? How can I distinguish it from the other materials easily? So for internet connection is unstable. Were you able to? Am I audible? Okay. So the last part or the most important characteristic is the copyright licensing. You can identify an OER when you are browsing materials on the net. How you can easily identify an OER. So this is what the copyright licensing of an OER. So now OER is also having a license. So now the question will be, okay, ma'am, all this while you were telling us that an OER is free to use and an OER is free from the copyright issue. And finally, you have come up with copyright licensing. So this might be running in your minds now. Don't worry. This licensing is different from the usual copyright licensing which we find on the materials. Okay, this is completely different. This licensing is giving you a lot of freedom. So you don't have to worry. This is a very good, noble license which you're going to deal with in an OER. So it is not everything comes for free always, right? There will be some conditions attached to it, right? For example, like when there is a sale going on, a footwear or a sari shop and all, have you seen the big posters they put up, Shrimati, like what is that, RD sale and all that they will be showing. And they will say flat 60% off, flat 70% off, flat 80% off. They will be putting on the banners. But if you can closely observe that flat 60% off, there will be an asterisk sign or a star, small asterisk sign attached to that 60% off. And below the banner, in a very micro, legible letters, that asterisk will be written, conditions apply. Have you noticed that? You have not noticed that? Because I always, whenever I see sale, we all jump into it, no? And we say, oh my God, 80% off. How can they give 80% off on this good silk sarees and all? So then once my father said, now you see that sign beside it. So then I saw it, and then it's written below, conditions apply. And once we go to the shop, then we realize what these conditions are. Well, sari we want and all will not be there for 80% off and all. That will be on the full price. Some other unwanted saris or some old stock and all will be there, which they have kept for 80% off. So that is called the conditions applied. There'll be some conditions applied. So in the same way, don't worry, an OER is not going to cheat you like that and all. I just said that for so that it becomes easy to understand. So there is some conditions which apply, very reasonable and very genuine conditions, which is not going to cause any trouble to all of us. Okay, so we will see what it is. So an OER is generally licensed under Creative Commons license. The license that an OER is having is known as a Creative Commons license. Now, Creative Commons, if I can say, it is a non-profit organization. This organization, they provide copyright licenses and tools which are helping institutions, companies and all to give this copyright permissions for open educational resources in a very simple and standardized way. That is, the Creative Commons is an organization. It is a non-profit organization. They have developed 6 different types of licenses called Creative Commons licenses. There are 6 different types. And these licenses have to be used for an OER. So if it is an OER, then it will be having a Creative Commons license. That is how you easily distinguish a normal learning material and an OER learning material. Because obviously, when you take the material on the front page or in the extreme end of the on the last page, you will be having the copyrights, right? You will search for it, no? Who has written and who is this article copyrighted to, with a C and a circle around it. That's the usual symbol. But if it is a Creative Commons, that particular license will be shown. So if you find a Creative Commons license, then you don't have to worry, then it is an OER. This is how you easily identify an OER on the internet. So this is, hope the slide is visible to everyone. You can see Creative Commons. These are the 6 types of licenses which you will be finding in open educational resource materials on the website. Has anyone come across any of these licenses? Not people who are already into this and who have already done the session. No, I'm asking the others. Has any one of you by chance come across any such license when you have browsed the material and when you have searched for the licensing part? Have you seen this symbol anywhere by chance, like any time? Any one of you, have you come across this license? No one has come across this. Haven't you at least seen this somewhere? No? Or is it absolutely new to you? This is to people who have not attended a session or who are not much into OER, who are like learning about it. See, that is what, it's very difficult to identify from these names and call out, and because there are faculty and we are not able to make out who is a faculty and who is a research scholar. Maybe next time we can create some facility for that also. Like along with your name, you can give your designation also, so that we can find out. Or I believe that all are faculty only. Maybe there are very, very few research scholars, 1 or 2. Is it so? No?
Yes, ma'am. Only around 13 participants are research scholars. All others are faculty.
13 participants, that is more than enough. No, 13, no, 13? Yeah, then so where are those 13 researchers, the young budding researchers? Where are you all? Why are you hiding? So please, anyone voluntarily? Neha. Who is that? Yes, please. Can you unmute?
Yes, ma'am.
Nekha, can you say, have you seen this kind of license somewhere?
Actually, no.
You have not seen. Okay.
No.
Then, Nekha, you're from which place, which institute?
I am from IIT Ropar.
Okay. So what is your area? of research?
English literature.
Okay, English lit. Okay, so you do a lot of reading and all that, like the literature means
Yes.
so much of reading and so many things, materials you have to refer, right?
Yes.
So you have not noticed this symbol anywhere in the materials, no?
No, I don't. I haven't noticed it.
You don't even notice the copyright, huh? All your concern is about the topic and the material coming under it, the content coming under it, is it? We are not
Yeah.
bothered about the copyright and all that, right?
No, actually, sometimes when we download a material, when we try to, copy it and try to read it or keep it, then there will be an automatically, they'll provide a copyright, like a sentence with a clause. Like if we are cutting and copy pasting it somewhere, there will be the detail of the materials along with it. So that is the only thing.
Procedure, everything, cite it this way, or the reference method, this thing and all will be given, no? Okay, so, but you have not come, you don't remember seeing this thing, this kind of a symbol
Towards
anywhere.
the end of the paper sometimes.
You have seen this logo in it? Somewhere you have. Okay, you think you have seen it. No, that is enough. So at least somewhere at a glance you remember. Huh?
Ma'am, Miss Aparna has posted something in the chat box. I've seen these symbols in online journals, but I'm not sure what each of these symbols mean.
Okay, that's nice. Aparna is
Hello.
Aparna?
Hi, I'm Aparna. I'm a teacher at Providence College, Kolkot. I have seen these symbols and I'm not sure exactly what each of them mean, but I think it's something like some are like you don't have to pay for it. Some you can circulate freely or something like that. I'm not sure exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that is fine. That is fine.
I think also in some journals, you have the option, if you're submitting your article to that journal, they will ask you whether or not you want to make it open source, something like that, I think.
Very nice, very nice. So yes, so you're from Providence College, no? So
yes,
you're a faculty, right? You're not a research. You're not a researcher. You have completed.
I am
your
a
PhD
faculty.
and all, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Fine. So okay, that's great. So and so now I'm happy that at least some of you are listening, right? Okay, but I am not happy with the researchers. Okay, the budding, active, energetic researchers. You should be jumping onto the screen when we ask you, no, and you're all hiding. And maybe, as I said, drinking tea or, watching something else. Huh? So only the faculty are answering me on, except one or two researchers. So that I felt very sad on that because maybe I'm too boring. So no, anyway, so because of that, I will give you a hands-on work now. I'm not going to explain all these Creative Commons licenses because you have proved that it's very boring. So what you can do is kindly go to the Google and type Creative Commons. Go to the Google and type Creative Commons, where you can, so it will take you to the website. Google is there, no? Your best friend, he will take you to the website of Creative Commons. Find out what these licenses stand for. All these licenses are explained there very well. And then we'll have a discussion. I'll give you 5 minutes time, not more than 5, just 5 minutes. All of you go to the Creative Commons website. You just type Creative Commons in Google. You will find the website, creativecommons.org. You go to the website. There you can find licenses. So these 6 licenses are given there. Just go through it. And then we will have a discussion one by one. So I'll give you 5 minutes time. Okay? Please do that, huh? Don't go away. You should go to Google. You should not go away from the place. You should go to Google and search. Thank you, Dr. Vineet. Thank you for sharing that link on Creative Commons. So, are you all able to get access to that Creative Commons and the different types of licenses? Are you doing that? Is it enough? Have you been able to read about the licenses? Can we have the discussion now? Can we have the discussion? If you are ready with the having just read through the licenses, we can just have a small discussion so that we can understand that. Anyone? Me, research scholars, I request, it's a very humble request, please reply and please participate and just there is nothing wrong or nothing right in this. We are all learning, we're all collaborating and learning, and it's through mistakes that we learn. Even myself, I'm a faculty, but we also commit mistakes and we also learn through discussions. Sometimes what I'm saying might not be the right thing. When someone else points out, that makes me I think about it, and that's how we all learn. That is what learning process is all about. You don't have to be scared or you don't have to feel bad about it. We all make mistakes. Even now I make mistakes in the class and I learn from my students. There is nothing to be ashamed of, or as a teacher, I feel it's like that. That's what I said, it's a lifelong learning process, teaching. And as a teacher, you're a lifelong learner. You keep learning things. So as a researcher also, you are supposed to be thinking in that way, right? So you should come out with your your views. You shouldn't be keeping quiet and hiding. And that you don't have to even put on your video. You just have to speak out, only just unmute and speak, right? So then what's stopping you all the 13 research scholars? Why you are not responding? You just have to unmute. You don't have to put your video also on. So we won't know whether you're having tea and snacks. Why? What is stopping you from that? Are we very strict? And it's a digital mode. It's not the offline mode also. You don't have to worry about anything. So it's my humble request. I really expect 1 or 2 research scholars to reply now for the Creative Commons licenses, if you have read it. I expect that. Any 1 or 2 of you, one of you can unmute and just we'll start with the first one, CC-BY. If you have read through it, what did you understand by CC-BY license? The first one, the CC-BY. Anyone? Any one of the research scholars? If you can unmute, please.
Hello, ma'am.
Who is this?
I'm Nekha. Like I unmuted a little bit earlier.
Okay, Nekha. Fine. Can you tell me, Nekha, what did you go through the licenses?
Yes,
Nekha?
yes. Actually, what I understood by CC-BY is that these are like legal contracts, and CC-BY specifically says that anyone can remix, use, and modify and use it. Also use your research commercially if we give credit to the that paper. Like
okay, you all you have to do is give credit to the author, right?
Author, original, yeah.
Make modification, you can reuse, you can revise and adapt and all that. That's what you have understood, right? From the first one.
Create similar, and also create similar alikes. Like use it to produce something similar to it.
You should produce something similar to it. Okay.
Yeah, it's like you have most liberty in the
BY. Okay, that's great.
By for any copyright.
That's really nice. So thank you so much, Nekha. You have responded to my request. That was very kind of you. In fact, very sweet of you. I'm really happy about it. So yes, what she has said is the first one which you find on the website, like CCBY. If you are coming across an article with a logo CCBY, then what does that mean? What can you do with that OER material? So first thing, it's an OER. What can you do with that? The thing is, you can distribute the material to others. You can remix it. You can tweak it. Like if you feel certain parts are not wanted, you can cut it off, delete it. Then you can build upon that work, build upon it. You can use this for commercial and non-commercial purposes also. Now, commercial and non-commercial, what does that imply? Any idea? Can anyone tell me what is meant by commercial and non-commercial use? What do they mean by this commercial use? What are they meaning by that? So this CCBY, BY is nothing but an acronym which says that you should acknowledge the creator, acknowledge the author. That is what BY stands for. That is what the author is standing there. So all you have to do is credit him. That is what BI stands for. It's just an acronym for crediting the author. CCBY. That's the first license by Creative Commons for an OER. And the characteristics of this license are: suppose you find a material with CCBY, then the following other characteristics: you can distribute it, you can remix, you can tweak, you can build upon it, and you can even use it commercially and non-commercially. So anyone, can you tell me what is meant by this commercial and non-commercial? Any one of you?
When it is sold for a price.
Okay. So who is this?
Vineetha.
Dr. Vineet, you're from which institute?
Government College, Tripunithura.
Okay, very nice of you. So thank you, sir. So this you can use it for making money, for financial benefits also. So just imagine, this author is so genuine and he is so large-hearted that whatever knowledge he is having and he has prepared something, he is offering it to us and saying that you use it as per your wish. If you want to edit something, you do that. If you want to add something, you do that. If you want to make money out of it, then also you do that. Everything is allowed. Only one thing, just acknowledge me at the end of the paper. Just, like that is so easy. This has been taken from this. This is the Creative Commons source and this is the author. As we do, we reference and we acknowledge and all that. No, towards the end, that's the only thing you have to do. So how many of us will be willing to do this? How many of us? We will be very happy to take this from someone. But when it comes to our work, publishing our work, how many of us will do this happily? We all will do that? You know what? I still know that we are in such an era that we have become some sort of self-centered, that sometimes I can see people hiding. They apply for a project and they hide it from others. They don't let others know that they are applying for a project or they are applying for a seminar and conference. Why? Because if they will apply, they will get 2 API score higher than me. So that should not happen. So when I'm applying, and I'll keep it under the desk. When no one is there, I'll get it forwarded through the head and I'll apply it. I've seen so many people like that also. There are many people who do self-service, but at the same time, and even in school, I remember there was one my friend who she wants to come first in the class. So what she does is, when in those days, when in school days, these people, we ask each other, the answers and all. So for the final exam and all, when teacher turns that side or just goes out of the class, students start discussing. And what she does, you can say you don't know, but instead of that, she gives the wrong answers. So it's not that you don't know, she gives the wrong answers so that you write the wrong thing and you lose your mark, and she becomes first. So this kind of attitude is not. And now, as I say, like especially now this API score, CAS promotion, they are all they are becoming like crabs. The crabs, the speciality of crabs, everyone knows. They won't let the other one climb on top. They keep pulling. So similarly, in any profession, if you can see most of the professions, we can see everybody is pulling each other's leg, and they keep hiding, and they are not ready to share anything, project or seminar or conference or paper publication or whatever. They just hide it and do, because what if he gets 2 or 3 points higher than me? What if he gets promoted 5 minutes earlier than me? So that should not happen. So this is the kind of mindset which has been developing in many people. In that era, you are talking of someone who is producing a very good quality work of himself or herself, and putting it in such a way that, go, take it, you are free to use it as per your wish. I really salute these people who are doing that. And I really wish that someday I can also do that and produce some good quality materials and publish it in the CC-BY license, so that everyone and anyone can use it as per their wish. So this license, CC-BY, is the most flexible among the 6 licenses. We saw 6 licenses. Among those 6 licenses, the most flexible is this one, because this has very less restrictions imposed on it. It allows you to do anything and everything. Only thing is you have to acknowledge. In all the cases, you have to acknowledge. So here, the only thing they are saying is you have to acknowledge. So that is the first license. So now when you browse a material on the internet, and if you find a logo like this, then immediately you should recollect that, yes, this is what I can do with the material. If it's a CC-BY, this is what I can do with it. So you have to keep that in mind. Okay. Next one, CC-BY-SA. Anyone else? Someone please tell me what is meant by CC. I have put all the characteristics here. You just have to explain it. CC-BY-SA. What can be done with this, and what is meant by that? Any one of you? Please, we won't waste time. No, any one of you. You just come up with your idea. We can rectify it if it's not proper. We can refine it. CC-BY-SA. What do you understand by that? CC-BY-SA. If suppose you come across a material which is having this logo, then the first thing that comes to your mind, yes, definitely it's an open education resource. But it's an open education resource with a CC-BY-SA. So how is it different from CC-BY? Can anyone tell me? See, everything is there on the screen. Any one of you? We just, I don't like talking. That's why I'm asking you. Yes, who is this, please? Your name?
Ma'am, my name is Shraddha Chetri. I'm a research scholar from Meghalaya, Nehu. And ma'am, is it like Creative Common Attribution share alike? It's for education purposes, like for organizations or for education institutions?
Yes, then what is that share alike, Shraddha? Have you noticed that SA, share alike?
Yes, ma'am.
What could it be? Any idea? Share alike. Actually, I've written the answer also there on the screen.
Okay.
Can you find out?
Remix, tweak, build upon, adapt. So it's like paraphrased.
You can, like earlier we discussed, in the CC-BY case, whatever the material you are getting, if you want, you can add your views to it. If you feel certain part of the paper is not needed in your work, you can delete that from that author's work. You can build upon, you can adapt it, yes, then redistribute. Then what is meant by share alike, SA? See, earlier it was CC-BY, now SA has been attached to it. So what could it be? SA, share alike. Any idea?
Ma'am, I'm saying on base of assumption, is it like similarity to the previous work, but then done it according to, as per our own need.
Okay, it's similarity to the previous work. It
Yeah,
should
but
be
then-
similar to the previous work.
Yes, ma'am. But then done as per our own, like how we need it, as per the.
It's what you have come close. You have come very close, Radha, and I'll just explain it now. Thank you so much for coming forward. Which is your area of research, Radha?
Ma'am, it's organizational behavior.
Okay, organized. And you are in your you are in the which phase of research you are in?
Ma'am, first year. First year.
Yes, in first year. Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's very nice of you that you have come forward and shared your views, huh, Shraddha? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, what she has said is, yes, it's similarity, but it's not similarity to the work. It's similarity to the license. For example, I will just put it like this. Now, suppose I am taking OER materials, which are licensed under CC BY SA. Now, when I am publishing my material, I have used CC BY SA materials, right? Now, when I publish my material, I should also publish it under CC BY SA. I cannot put any other license. I cannot put CC BY. I cannot put CC BY ND. I cannot put a copyright. I cannot do anything. If I am publishing my work after using CC BY SA materials in my work, then my work should also be published under CC BY SA. The license of my work should be CC BY SA. But in the case of CC BY, it's not like that. You take that, you can do as per your wish. You can put any license to it. But for a CC BY SA, they demand that if you have taken materials from CC BY SA into your work, then when you publish your work, it should be licensed under CC BY SA. Now, this is basically what I understood is why they have come out with this license, is because all of us are very greedy. We all want to get materials. Let it come, let it come, let it come. But when I am in the phase of publishing, sometimes what I might do, I might put a copyright and publish it. I will take everything, but when it comes to sharing, I might put a copyright or I might put some other CC, BY, ND and all. Very stringent restrictions. So to avoid that, they have put this kind of a license that if you are using CC, BY, SA material works, things in your work, then when you publish, you also have to give a CC BY SA so that others can make use of it. Maybe because of that they have come up with this. Okay. So this is the second type. So first one, CC BY, the most flexible. Next, CC BY SA, you can do anything and everything for commercial, non-commercial, everything. Only one more condition is attached. First, you have to acknowledge the person. The second condition attached is when you are publishing, publish it under CC BY SA. You cannot use any other license for your work. Now, next step, CC BY NC. Now, the symbol itself shows, you can understand the money, and it says non-commercial. That means you cannot use these kind of materials. If you are taking OER materials which have CC BY NC, then you cannot use it for commercial purposes, like for making money, for financial profit, for a book purpose and all. Books and all you ultimately publish, and if you're making money or some educational materials which you are selling for a minimum cost or something like that, something which is related to making money or profit or financial gains, in that case, if you are making something like that, if you find an OER with CC BY NC, you should not go for it, because this license, the characteristic says that you can share, copy, remix, tweak, build upon. Everything is the same. You can adapt, you can modify, you can redistribute. Everything can be done, but only for non-commercial purpose, not for commercial. Only for non-commercial purpose. Okay, that is one condition they have added. So if you find a material with this symbol, immediately try to recollect. Yes, this is what the characteristic says. Okay, so if I have to use it for money making, no, I will avoid this kind of OER materials. I will go with CC BY or the other CC BY SA. I will avoid NC materials because it doesn't allow me to use for profit making or money making. It's a non-commercial license. See, now when we go one by one, the conditions are increasing. The stringency is increasing. So now CC BY NC SA. NC SA. So can anyone now tell me this first? It's very easy now. We have already discussed the other parts now. It's like CC, BY, NCSA. Any of you? What does this mean? CC, BY. If you come across an OER, which is CC, BY, NCSA, what can you do with that material? What does it permit you to do?
Credit should be given to the author. It can be used for non-commercial purposes and it should be shared in the very same manner.
Okay, exactly right. So credit should be given to the author. You can use it only for non-commercial purposes. And finally, when you publish your work, the license should be CC, BY, NCSA. You cannot use any other license for your work. When you publish your work, it should be under CC, BY, NCSA. Exactly right. Now, this one. Someone else. What is this? CC, BY, ND. This is very easy. You can easily make out from the slide. I have given everything in the slide. CC, BY, ND. Someone who has not participated. I would prefer research scholars. I don't know why. We all love research students. They're all budding youngsters, right? So we are mentoring them. We want them to come up and grow up and up the academic field, contribute so much. So that's why we all keep promoting you. So that's why we all love you. And that's why we are calling you research scholars. Please, any one of you, please come forward and explain this. What is meant by CC, BY, ND? Maybe after this session, none of the research scholars will attend my sessions in future, I feel. in any other FDPs, no? Because they say, oh, that ma'am, she keeps on calling research scholars. So we better not take part, right? Any one of you? Any one of you? Any one of the research scholars? There are 13 of you all, and only 1 or 2 have answered or participated. Anyone else? Smart enough. You just have to read what is written on the screen, nothing else. Please, any one of you, what is meant, what do you understand by CC, BY, ND? Because if I ask the faculty, they'll immediately give me the answer. I don't want that. I want someone who is into this research field to come up. Shraddha has answered, Nekha has answered. We also have had some other people participating, 2 or 3. What about the others? Anyone? See, it's been 1.5 hours and I've been pleading, so at least consider that, and any one of you can come forward, please. Any of the research scholars? What do you understand? Or you just read what is written in the slide. That's enough. Just read it out. That's enough. You don't have to explain. Just read it out. Just reading? No. Oh my God, that is very, very disappointing. Anyway. So then I'll ask somebody else. Anyone who is willing, can you please explain what this is about? Anyone else who is willing to? Anyone else?
It can be shared by attributing to the author and without any change.
It can be shared
by attributing the credit to the author and without any change.
Exactly. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. See, this is a simple thing that I asked, and you didn't come forward with the answer. See, what is that? That equal to sign is given. Equal to. The material should be passed unchanged without any change. You cannot alter. Earlier we said no, in the other licenses and all, you can alter, you can delete, you can modify. If you feel certain part is not needed, you delete that part and take the remaining part. If you feel you want to modify a line, what he has written, you want to modify, that also you can do. If you want to add your version to it, 2-3 lines, that also you can do in between. But here they are saying this OER is in such a way that the material can be used for commercial, non-commercial purposes. You can use that, but you are not allowed to change it. You are not allowed to change it. CC, BY, ND. That is what the equal to sign. No derivatives. ND stands for no change. You cannot change it. And this, actually, this license, the earlier one, no, the ones which we said like the modification and all can be done. Have you seen any website with that the changing sign CC, BY, CC, BY, NC, and not NC, CC, BY? We use that website very often. We get information from that in Google. That website has this OER license, the first ones. Remember one website, which we always use that. We get a lot of information
Wikipedia, no?
Exactly, exactly. Ma'am, your name, your good name?
Silja Roy.
Ma'am, you're from?
St. Peter's College, Colangeri.
Okay, correct, ma'am. Exactly right. This, if you go to Wikipedia and all, you have this. You can edit. Have you noticed that? At least now you will be able to recollect. You can change. No, you get information at the same time. You can edit it. You can enter that. You can edit, make changes, update. Everything can be. So that is Wikimedia is an example of those kind of an OER material. Now this one, this ND, CC BY ND says that you cannot change, but you can use it for commercial and non-commercial purposes. Whatever your uses, you use it entirely, but you cannot modify it. Which kind of this license will be more applicable? Yes, please.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Not that CC by SA is used by Wikipedia or CC by ND?
CC, that I don't remember which one. I think it is SA or no, SA.
It's not ND. Wikipedia uses only CC by SA.
That is what, not ND. I'm not saying ND. I'm talking about the earlier licenses. Okay. So now I'm asking an example for CC BY ND. What you said is correct, sir. It is CC BY SA, Wikimedia. Correct, sir. That only we were saying. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now the question is, to which kind of things, materials will this be more applicable? CC BY ND. They say you're not supposed to make any changes. So which will be the most apt or applicable license where you can use this? Any examples where you can use this CC BY ND? You want to share, but you don't want people to edit it because it might go wrong or something. So what can you use it for? Any examples, simple examples? Which one? Anything you want to publish? So under the CC BY ND, any idea? For example, your thesis work. You have conducted a scientific study or a thesis and all that. Suppose you want to publish it, it would be better if you publish under CC BY ND, because not anyone can come in and change and edit it. You have found out your experimental values are there, your findings are there. If you put it under the essay CC BY mode and all, what will happen? Anybody can come and sometimes change your findings or put cause some errors in the data and all that, right? So if you publish your research articles in CC BY ND, where there are purely this kind of an experimental thing and all that, if you put it under CC BY ND, it will be better, because you're sharing the entire thing, but at the same time you're making sure that no one comes in and edits and alters and causes some sort of errors into it. Okay, so for that maybe you can go with CC BY ND, but otherwise you can go with the flexible licenses. And the last one is CC BY NC-ND. This is the most restrictive of the 6 main licenses. You have all restrictions attached to it. It says you can only download it, you can't change them in any way, and you cannot use them commercially. Earlier, the ND, the CC BY ND said that you can download it, you cannot change them, but you can use them commercially also. But if you find a material which is licensed like CC BY NC-ND, then be careful that when you go and use it, the only thing you can do is you can use it as it is, and you cannot use it for commercial purposes. So these were the 6 main types of licenses under Creative Commons, which is being used to license OER materials. So this is basically the theory of an OER, okay, the concept of OER. I hope it is a little bit clear.
Ma'am?
Yes? Yes.
Sometimes we have this PDF free downloads, no? It comes under this particular category, the last one.
Which one? PDF downloads?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, PDFs. But you have to see this this license is there.
Okay. How is it different from the copyright, the normal copyright?
That is what the normal copyright. Which one you're asking? The general OER, how it is different, or this license?
This last one.
This one is different. This non-commercial one is ND-NC is different in this way that Now, when you take a normal copyrighted material and when you want to use it entirely into your document, if you want to use the entire article, you cannot do it in the normal copyrighted case. Suppose you are presenting for a seminar in some institution or some international webinar and all that, you cannot take the majority part of a PDF just like that and present it. Only a small part of the works can be taken and that too quoted and put it, right? But here in this NCND, it is allowing you to take the, and if you can show that entire document related in between your presentation fully, you can add your the first you will be having your slides, and if you want to show this person's, then you don't have to take his acknowledgement or you don't have to write in mail to him for any such things. But if it is a copyrighted material, when you are going into some platforms, international platforms, and where you have this global sharing and all that, then there is always a possibility that they can sue you for not informing them that you are using this if they come to know about it. But in an OER, there is no such issue. Many a times they are not aware, or maybe they don't know, and we just get away with all those things. But there are possibilities that once if somebody notices it and puts a case against you, then it's like you are not supposed to take the entire material without permission of the other person. Like if you are starting a course without any financial benefit, if you are starting a course, for example, an open course or a module or something you're developing in your institution, without the permission of that person, you cannot take the entire material. That is how legally it is. You can take parts of it maybe and quote it, but you cannot take it as a whole and give it. But if it is an OER which is licensed under CC BY NC/ND, you are free to take the entire material and put it into the course curriculum. That is how it is different actually.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, so we have discussed the 6 different types of licenses, right? So now I feel that you have got a little bit of understanding on the concept of an OER, right? What exactly is an OER? Like we discussed, openness, cost-free nature, relevance, simple, the 5 R's, and finally the copyright licensing. So when you enter into the internet or website, how you would distinguish is you have to search for the license. If it is a copyrighted one, definitely you know it is not an OER. But if you find any of these symbols in the material, any of these symbols in the material, then definitely it is an OER. Then the next job is to see which license it is, whether it is CC BY, whether it is CC BY SA, whether it is CC BY NC or NCSA, and accordingly you have to use the material, because each license has its own characteristics. Each license is different from each other. Not all are the same. We just saw them now. They have their particular characteristics. So when you use them, you have to be very careful and use them according to the characteristics specified by each license. Because again, you cannot go and use a CC BY NCSA if you want to make you want to publish a book or something. Then again legal issues will come up, because you're not supposed to do that. They have mentioned it, right? For that you can search CC BY SA materials or CC BY materials. That is, so now these are the 6 types of licenses. So this is about OER and its licenses. Now the next part is, now you all will be thinking how to search for an OER. Now when we are typing in the Google and all, like you all said, you have hardly come across OER materials. You have never, some of you have never seen any materials. Some of you have seen it somewhere. So now from where will I get OER materials? How will I search for OER, right? So that we will search, the searching part, we will do it post lunch. If I'm right, morning session, I think it's like 10 to 11:30, right? And then it's from 3 to 4:30. So that is the most difficult time. After heavy lunch, we will be sleeping, we'll feel sleepy. So that time we will do this hands-on. We will search for OER so that you people and I also won't feel sleepy. Okay, so that I've kept it for that part. One more thing I wanted to share is, I just wanted to ask you all. Now, if I ask you, nobody is answering, only few are answering. So, but still, suppose you come across an article. Have you come across that with no license? That is, you won't even find a CC license, and there won't be a copyrighted symbol also. What does that mean? Any idea? Suppose, have you come across? I have come across. I've come across that materials where they don't have either CC license nor the copyrighted license. So, have you by chance come across such materials? Have you been lucky enough to come across such no licensed materials so that you can use it as per your wish? Any one of you? Yes, have you come across that? Where you have no licenses, any materials where you cannot find a copyright or a OER license. Is it? Have you come across that? So, am I audible, or am I talking to myself? Maybe the internet has got cut.
You're audible, ma'am. You're audible.
Okay. Then why is it that no one is responding? So I thought that maybe I'm talking to myself, seeing myself on the screen and talking to myself. So where are all of you all? Have you come across any such material where there is no license? You have not found any license. It's like no license at all. Okay. So the silence, I take the silence for.
I think, ma'am, this is Aparna again. Yeah, I just think that it's possible that we haven't really noticed these before, but now that you've pointed it out, maybe when we look at it again, we will get an idea, because I think it's quite likely that we haven't paid attention to whether that license is there or not before.
Okay, fine. Okay, Aparna. Thank you so much, Aparna, for replying. I feel very happy when someone responds. So, as we say, silence is golden, but silence during workshops and conferences is not at all golden. Let me remind you that. Okay. So, if you come across a material which has no license, then please don't take it for granted and don't use it as it is. Okay. It means that it must be of some chapter or some part of a book or some other online material which has been taken from in between and uploaded. Okay, so that is why that license is not there. So if there is no license, don't be happy and don't think that it is free and you can do anything with it. It is very risky. Search if you can find out its source, or else if the author and all is given, you can properly acknowledge it. Do that. It's not, otherwise it can be a legal issue. So that is what I wanted to share that with you all. So no license doesn't mean it's safe. It's absolutely risky. So you have to acknowledge that also, try to find out a source and something like that. It is always safe to go with licensed materials, either be it OER or the copyrighted. Copyright has a lot of restrictions, but still you acknowledge, you take a part of it and you acknowledge it, right? And if you're using the entire thing, you have to write to the author and take his permission and all that for a courseware or for other things and all. So, but whatever it is, but if this material is there without a license, don't think it is free and don't use it as a free material. Don't put it anywhere as per your wish without acknowledgement. You have to acknowledgement, and if possible, try to find out its source, searching through the net, or maybe but finding it out is difficult. So better, if you're not able to get any details about it, avoid it. Avoid it. If you cannot acknowledge it, avoid it. So that is one thing that I wanted to share with all of you all, because sometimes earlier I also used to think that if there is no license, oh wow, so lucky we are, there is one material which is free of license. But later on, I came to know that this it's very risky. You should not deal with such materials. Okay, it might have come out from a book which somebody has just uploaded a chapter or some 2-3 pages from somewhere. So we don't know its source and all that. Whose it is. So you just keep that in mind. So I'll stop now. 10 to the first session, the theoretical part is over, and 3 to 4:30 we'll have the practical part where we'll do the searching and all that. Okay, so at least the 3 to 4:30 session, I expect the research scholars to be active and reply before I leave at least. Okay, so I'll stop now for the morning session. Soumya ma'am, can we stop now? No, right? 11:30.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
So, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we have come to the end of the morning session. So thank you so much, ma'am. It was an awesome session. Post lunch, we have an interesting hands-on session on OER by the same resource person. So meet you all at 3 p.m. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a
Thank you,
nice lunch.
Vineetha. Thank you, Vineetha.
Yes, and have a nice lunch, everyone, and don't sleep at 3 o'clock.